You know that feeling, right? You're just sitting there, maybe trying to relax, and suddenly you notice it. Your jaw is clenched, your shoulders are up by your ears, there's just tension everywhere. Well, today, we're going to go on a journey deep inside to figure out what that's all about. What's the story our bodies are trying to tell us through all this hidden tension? Let's get into it.
This quote it nails it, doesn't it? Something almost scary. And it is kind of scary. The second you actually start paying attention with something like mindfulness, bam, you realize there's this enormous world of tension you've been carrying around. It's wild. And it begs the question, right? If this has been here the whole time, why on earth are we only noticing it now?
Well, the answer is pretty simple, actually. What we're feeling, that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Okay, and this is where it gets really fascinating. That numbness, that lack of awareness, it's not a bug, it's a feature. Seriously, it's a super smart adaptation by our nervous system. Think about it. If you're under constant chronic stress, your body can't be sending alarm bells 24/7. So your brain just turns down the volume on those signals so you can keep going. And that's exactly why just noticing the tension doesn't magically make it disappear. We're up against a system that has become an expert at hiding this stuff from us. And for a pretty good reason, survival.
All right, so if all this tension is a shield, a protective mechanism, what exactly is it protecting us from? To figure that out, we've got to peel back the first layer and look at how our life story literally gets written into our bodies.
This brings us to a concept from a pretty controversial but honestly brilliant psychoanalyst named Wilhelm Reich. He called it character armor. And the idea is that the chronic tension we hold in our muscles, it's not random at all. It's our biography, literally written into our body tissues. It's a physical defense system we build up over years to guard against emotional pain and psychological stress. It's our survival story, made flesh.
And this is such a huge shift in how we need to think about this. You know, we usually see a tight shoulder as just a muscle knot, a mechanical problem, right? So we try to attack it, stretch it, get a deep tissue massage, just beat it into submission. But what if it's not a mechanical problem at all? What if it's a psychological strategy? That tension isn't an enemy, it's a protector. And if we ever want it to let go, we first have to understand the job it's been doing for us all this time.
Now, I know this might all sound a bit daunting, but here's the really good news. We're not flying blind here. A lot of brilliant people have already mapped out this territory. This is not some unsolvable mystery. There are real established pathways to start unwinding this body armor.
So these approaches kind of fall into a few big categories. You've got somatic work, which is all about helping the body release stored-up survival energy, literally letting yourself shake or tremble it out. Then there's movement-based stuff, which helps retrain all those ingrained habits we have. Think of things like yoga or qigong. You also have structural work, which gets hands-on with the body's connective tissue, the fascia, to literally reorganize it. And of course, there's breath work, which is like a direct line to your nervous system, helping to calm everything down. The cool part is, they're all just different doors into the same house.
But okay, just when you think you're getting a handle on it, the story takes another turn. It gets even deeper. Here's a wild thought. What if not all of that tension you're feeling actually belongs to you? What if you're carrying around more than just your own life story?
The best way to think about it is like an onion. On the outside layer, you've got the simple stuff. Daily stress, work deadlines, all that. Peel that back, and you find your own personal character armor we just talked about. But go deeper still, and you hit ancestral layers. Yeah, the inherited stuff from your family line. And then, at the very, very center of it all, the conditioning that comes from the society we live in.
And look, this isn't just a philosophical idea anymore. The science is catching up. You've probably heard of epigenetics. It's showing us that trauma can literally leave a mark on our genes that changes how we respond to stress. And that gets passed down through generations. Plus, our most basic tension patterns, you know, that clenched jaw, the tight shoulders, those are ancient, hardwired survival reflexes. So here's the big takeaway. Some of the tension you feel isn't just yours. It's a living echo from your lineage. When you work on releasing it, you might just be healing a story that's way, way older than you are.
And that brings us to that final, deepest layer. And wow, this quote just says it all. Society is a machine that programs us to be cogs. It's true, right? We're conditioned to prioritize our thoughts over our feelings, to be productive instead of just being present. And that programming actually shapes our physical bodies, locking in tension patterns that make us good workers, but don't necessarily do a thing for our own health and well-being. All right, so with all these layers in the mix, our own life, our family's history, the society we're in, how in the world do we actually create real, lasting change? Well, it turns out it requires a total shift in how we approach the problem, a whole new way of thinking about healing.
So the old way? That was all about attacking the tension, fighting it, forcing the body, trying to break down the armor. But the new way, which is backed by all this cool modern neuroscience, is completely different. It's all about creating safety. The goal isn't to force your body to release anything. The goal is to create an environment internally that is so safe that your body's protective systems finally feel like they can stand down. It's about gently thawing frozen ground, not trying to smash the ice. It's about making friends with your armor, not declaring war on it.
And one of the most powerful ways we can send that signal of safety is through our breath. It's almost ridiculously simple. For example, science has shown that just slowing your breathing down to around 6 breaths a minute triggers the parasympathetic nervous system. That's your body's rest and restore mode. You're basically telling your entire system, hey, we're safe. You can relax now. But once we send that signal, where does the change actually happen in our physical structure? Well, the answer lies in a part of our body we've ignored for way too long.
It all happens in our fascia. This is the amazing, intelligent web of connective tissue that wraps around literally everything inside you. Every muscle, every bone, every organ. For the longest time, science just dismissed it as packing material. But now we know it's a living, holistic sensing organ. It's jam-packed with nerve endings, connecting it directly to your nervous system. And get this, it can actively contract and tighten in response to your mental state. This is the very stuff our character armor is made of. But here's the magic. When we create that deep sense of safety, using things like breath and mindful movement, we are directly signaling that fascial network to let go. We can literally help reshape and realign our entire inner structure from the inside out.
So I want to leave you with this question to think about. If all that tension you're carrying around in your jaw, your gut, your shoulders, if it isn't just random tightness, if it's a story, a physical record of your life, your family's history, and the world you live in, then what is your body just waiting to release? What story is it ready to let go of? Finding that answer? Well, that could be the start of a whole new chapter for you.